You guys have hats. I need something.
The camera is going to steal.
Hello, and welcome to the third episode of...
This movie sucks.
Thank you.
We've got a guest with us today.
We sure do.
Hi.
Good buddy Jason, here to review some films. Talk
Watch a lot of
about motion pictures, the industry, the state of things.
And it is heavily edited.
Josh, if you want to, take the wheel, steer us in. What have you been watching? What do you want to complain about? What's your hot take?
Well, before I complain, I just want to gush a little bit. Because I watched a movie last night I hadn't seen, since I was probably 17 years old. Because it came out in 2007. I remember renting it from the video store, first run. That's how old I am. And I remember when I was 17, I watched it and I was like, okay, whatever, But then I rewatched it, and now with my appreciation for practical effects and independent cinema, I was like, this movie it's amazing. It's like everything I want. It's called Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer.
I was going to say, let us guess.
Well, there's no way either of you have ever heard of it.
We would have gotten it in 3 guesses, I guarantee.
Yeah, probably.
That was on the tip of my tongue. I knew it.
It's just a
I was gonna say
great
John Brooks.
script. Like, that's my favorite part about it. Sometimes when you watch a movie, you can tell, usually by the second act, by the midpoint, whether the script is well written or not. And this is just
Live action, animation?
live action.
Claymation?
Live action.
Okay.
But there's, I don't believe, a single ounce of CGI in the entire movie. All practical effects. And it's about this guy, Jack Brooks, who, when he was like 5, 6, 7 years old, one specific monster slaughtered his family. Nobody believed him, and he ran away because he was a kid. And now as an adult, he has these unbelievable anger issues and just this rage he can't control. There's this one scene where he's talking about how he got so angry he broke a bottle over his head because he couldn't open it, and he's like, that doesn't even make any sense, why would I do that? And it was just really funny because it's like kind of relatable.
So was the movie made in 2007, or you saw it in 2007?
No, it was made in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so he has this issue with rage throughout the entire movie. And then at the end, this thing that's been building through the whole story happens, and these monsters come out. And first he runs away, but then he hears this song that was playing when his family got slaughtered on the radio, and he stops his van, and he's like, no. And he turns around, and he's a plumber, so he has all his plumbing supplies, and he goes back in with like his, his plumbing wrench and and he just kicks the hell out of the monsters, and it's awesome. It's one of those like moments in a movie where you're just like actually rooting for the hero, and it was so funny to me, like, because the movie was made only 2007. That was 15 years ago.
Almost 16. Well, depending on when it came out.
So 15, 16 years ago. And just the way films have changed, like, not to get too deep into it, but specifically with like male characters and the way that things happen with them, it was just such a, refreshing experience, if that makes sense. And I would totally recommend it. The movie was fantastic. And it's only an hour and 25 minutes, so it flies by.
How come we've never heard of it before?
Yeah.
Came out in
Small
2007.
studio.
It was independent film.
Okay.
That's like the time span where I would have been
Right.
hearing about it.
Yeah. you probably passed it by in like movie rental stores.
So you like it because the storyline is simple: man bonks bad thing on head.
I like it because it was it's a simple storyline, but it's told in a way that like everything is condensed and everything, because like I said, it's pretty short. It's an hour and 25 minutes. But by the end, you feel like you really know the main character, the protagonist. Mm-hmm. And I'm always impressed when a film gets you to feel that and root for someone that much in such a short amount of time, Because, you look at a movie like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's like, I believe the extended editions are like 12 hours long in total.
Might be longer.
Yeah, and to get you to feel as much for a character in literally like 5% of the time is impressive to me.
You cared as much about this guy as you did Frodo and Sam.
I'm saying on a
You
general
take that
level.
back. You take that back right now.
Have either of you even seen the extended editions?
I have, yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. You like the Star Wars
And
prequels.
here's why I don't like them. They're meandering and overlong.
How about you, Jack? You
Just
seen
like the
anything?
books.
The only thing I saw was the film we watched together,
Come and see.
which I don't know. You said you like movies where you get to really root for the main character and it builds up this empathy for him, but you came out of Come and See and you were like, I didn't care that much for it, was your takeaway. I thought it was good. Not as great as people were saying. I actually saw another tweet like literally yesterday that was like the most messed up, or what was the word? Most disturbing film ever. And I was like, no, I liked it.
Yeah, I don't remember it having anything really worse than like Saving Private Ryan or something.
Yeah, actually, and like I think Saving Private Ryan probably got more graphic in the scene where they liberate the camp than any scene in this film. Not that I liked it a lot. It was cool, but I think your complaint was like it never establishes any type of like strong like achievement throughout the movie. Like there's no like it's like A to B to C to D to E to F, and none of those points actually have anything to do with one another in between.
Nothing that you see at the beginning is brought back later. There's no linking storyline. The acts. It just felt like that's a good example to me of a poorly written script. Where like the subject matter is really intense and amazing, and some of the graphic depictions are really intense and well done, but the script itself just doesn't bring you along with the character, because the character doesn't really go on a journey. He doesn't really go anywhere. He just kind of meanders around like a 2-mile radius and then sees a lot of bad stuff happen.
I think it's further than that, but yeah, I think maybe we should explain. Come and See is
Okay,
a
thank you.
96, not
1984.
84. Close. Eastern European. I think it was Belarusian, but it takes place in Belarus. In the time that it was being fought over between Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia.
Yep.
So during World War II.
Yep.
As it's like they're partisans, so they're civilians that are fighting Nazi occupiers. And then it follows the story of this kid from this village, and his whole life is just really bad after the war comes.
He just wanders around and the story happens to him.
That was basically...
Yeah. I mean, there's some comedic moments, like when they throw the kid out the window.
I was gonna say, they lit some children on fire. That was very funny.
Yeah. I mean, no, but yes.
Yeah, there was like opportunities to like drive home. Maybe we're like fans of gore too much, but they like never really get too graphic in the like effects.
No. I mean, some of the explosions, they were practical, they were cool, but like...
Yeah, they like blew up the forest. That was sweet.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure they killed a real cow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a lot of real animal murder in the film, which was
We can't say for
weird.
sure, but it looked like real animal
I
killing.
can 100% say for sure, as a filmmaker, that was actual murder.
As someone who kills animals.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that at least the murder of the eggs and the cow, those were real. Because it's technically not illegal to kill a cow.
Egg murder?
He steps on a bunch of bird eggs.
Oh.
It's kind of like an omen type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can buy a cow and kill it. It's just the rules for cinema were different in the 80s, so like that stuff was kind of in a gray zone, especially if they were filming in Eastern Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Then there was no zone.
I'm surprised they didn't blow the cow up.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just shot it, I think.
Exactly.
They just shot it?
Yeah.
Where?
like
several
strafing
times.
across it because it was supposed to be like a machine gun nest. They get spotted and they like spray the
And then you
field.
watch the poor thing slowly die on camera.
Sounds incredibly cruel.
Yeah, yeah.
He uses it as a shield. He hides behind it, I think.
Yep.
Definitely gonna have to put a clip of that in.
Yeah, a lot less funny than the kid out the window, for sure.
It was a good movie, but I think that's a good point. You can't. There's some type of disconnect to a storyline when like there's no continuity through it. Like
Right, exactly.
he does meet the girl again at the very end that he meets from the beginning. But
And then
it's like
there's-
a 5-second shot, and she's been
Well, there's implications that she was...
assaulted and or like abducted by the Nazis and abused, and then
And all
he
I
just
could
like
think-
walks away from her.
Yeah, and
He's
all I could
just
think was
"I don't
there's like a
have
much
time."
better story on her end that we didn't see.
Right. I thought that was going to be the connecting piece. And he's like, at least we met each other again and we're still alive. And then they like go to forge a new life. But I think what does he do? He walks away and goes and joins. No, what does he do? What's the very last thing he does? I can't remember.
He tapes his gun up and then he follows
Oh,
the
yeah, he goes
resistance
off to
after they
fight.
kill the Nazis.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was honestly my biggest issue with the film. Like, yeah, the script could have been better, absolutely. But the biggest issue was that there was just way too many scenes
Oh, yeah.
of just like 5 to 10 minute segments of like one thing happening, and it was like a steady shot, and it's just
The struggle in the swamp.
Oh my
that
God,
was actually
dude.
kind of brutal.
that was brutal.
You're like, why are they still showing this?
I know why they're showing it, because the director forced a bunch of underage kids to do a swap. He's like, I want to make sure everybody sees every second of this. But it was horrible. Those are the most painful parts to sit through by far.
Yeah, could have shaved off 10 minutes minimum of the film.
I believe it was like a 2.5 hour movie, right?
Yeah, it
So
was
it
pretty
didn't
long.
need to be.
I did really like that the like German spy plane was like the Omen, and it like that he's kind of the reason that his village was ever even visited by the Nazis. In the very beginning, he digs up a rifle from this old battlefield he's playing in, and he's like holding it, and this plane goes by overhead and sees a silhouette of someone holding a rifle. So then the Germans come to that town and are investigating.
Yep.
And then throughout the movie, the spy plane revisits, and it's always like the harbinger of something really
Yeah.
bad happening.
At least that's something.
But that's it. Like, they don't do anything about it. They never.
Yeah. The most irritating part about that, and you just reminded me when you said it, was the opening where you have no idea what the heck's going on and you don't figure it out for like the first 25 minutes of the movie. And it's
Yeah.
not like intentionally done to confuse you. It's just badly told, where it opens on an old man yelling at these two kids, and you're like,
That took me like at least halfway through the film to figure out what
Yeah,
the hell the first
yeah.
scene was supposed to mean. That might have been the language barrier, but I don't know.
yeah, like something was lost in translation. But I mean, you're like a war aficionado, you follow this stuff, and you were confused as heck, so.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the partisans are all wearing stolen gear. So you like in the beginning of the film, you're like, is he fighting for the Germans or against the Germans,
Right,
or are they
right.
independent? And then you realize they're partisans, but one of the guys is wearing stolen German stuff, and that's like a very clearly a German style helmet, and so it's really confusing at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason?
Did the director do anything else?
The cinematography was great. The shots,
Some of the shots were nice. Yep, it was all shot on film. I mean, it was 80s, so they didn't have a choice. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was shot in Eastern Europe. So
Yeah.
That'd be fun to find out.
yeah. You got any movies you want to talk about? Anything you've seen? I believe there was one movie I was pretty excited.
Yeah. What year was that from? Severed Ways.
Severed Ways.
It's a movie about two Viking buddies who do.
Unspeakable things.
Well, yeah, they do a couple things. It's hard to see. I can't really remember the plot because I'm not sure there was one.
No. So Jack, we'll explain this to you. I don't think you saw Severed Ways. This was an
I
experience for
certainly
us.
haven't. When did you watch this?
Many years ago.
When he and I were living in that weird little trailer across,
There was a documentary about it called Homeless in Vermont.
yeah. He and I, by the end of the film, we were actually fighting and wrestling because he was trying to stop the movie, and I kept arguing and saying, no, it'll get better. It'll get better if we just finish it.
No, Josh, we just
And
have to shut
he
it
was
off.
like on the verge
Yeah.
of tears, like, no, it needs to end, because it was like the worst movie either of us had ever seen.
Torture.
And to this day, I still think it may be the worst
The
movie
worst
we've
film,
ever
yeah.
seen. Yeah.
Certainly.
We watched a man poop on camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big, very loose. I don't know if it was right before that or right after.
so
he
is
takes
this the regular kind of movie you get at the store, or one you have to get from a special
No, we
guy
rented
in a
it at the
trench coat?
store.
regular?
This
film.
the guy who's behind the movie store in the trench coat has.
Hey, you guys want to rent some movies?
Yeah.
Takes a live chicken, like life, just chops its head off.
Mm-hmm.
Does it run around afterwards, or?
I don't remember. I'm
They're
pretty sure we
Vikings?
were fighting at that
Yeah,
point.
sure, they're Vikings.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, well,
I said
so they land on this island, like that's supposed to be America or something at the beginning, but they're Vikings, so they don't know where they are. And then they just wander through the woods and headbang to heavy metal.
Oh yeah, there was like black metal or something.
Yeah, dude like has an axe and a sword, and he's
So
just
it's
like,
not like a serious movie.
no, it's
It
totally
was-
serious. It just
wanted to
randomly
be.
cuts to a scene of a guy headbanging, and it's like, and he's headbanging, and then it cuts back to another guy taking a poop, and then it cuts to them. I believe they find some like Christian missionaries and set fire to their church.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and then one of them like falls in love with a Christian missionary.
Why would there
and
be Christian missionaries
I don't know.
in America.
pre-Columbus
I just
America?
remember they separate at one point, and the long-haired Viking goes off on his own and dies in the snow. Like the movie was trying to have this weirdly nihilistic ending. I don't remember what happens to the other
The
one.
hairier of the two. he goes into like a field. It's all very pretty and stuff, and he sees this lady, and then I don't know if they ever communicate, like they leave things for each other or something, and then they're in love.
She washes his feet.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember why.
In
Was
the
there
old
any
in the
dialogue
old
in
days,
this film?
feet washing is a really means something in ancient world.
Yeah, but there was dialogue.
What? I don't remember any dialogue.
It was sparse.
I don't think that guy spoke at all.
My memories of this film is like rage and fighting. Yeah, and like trying to argue that it would get better.
That was the next scene. Then we'll finally understand where it's going, and then suddenly credits.
I
Yeah.
love that kind of film. Like you're like I've almost got all the pieces are falling in, and then it's like, oh, that's the end.
Reminds me of when we watched Slackers.
Slackers. Oh man.
Every time, okay, so
classic.
this is the main character. It's gonna pick up now, and it just went on like that for 90 minutes.
That's the movie where it's the entire movie is cutting between random
As we
people
grow
having
old.
conversations about nothing.
For women
Yeah,
in general.
like the Mallrats era.
Yeah. Jonathan, my stepdad growing up, he had this habit of.
He had a couple
playing-
habits.
He had a couple habits. One of them was playing practical jokes on me by renting films for me and my friends to watch that he knew were terrible, and he would talk them up like
That
they
was
were.
supposed to be a joke. I thought he was just
He was
like that. I thought he thought
Jewish?
genuinely.
It's May 22nd.
He
It's a
had
very
a-
important day for
you
you to
know,
remember.
very specific sense of humor.
Not because he was Jewish.
He rented it for, I believe it was you, me, and Adam.
Yeah, I thought he and maybe Nathan.
Maybe. I don't know.
I thought that he genuinely believed it was like the peak of cinema, like just the best thing.
I don't know, man. He rented me a couple other movies that he told me were the peak of cinema, and they never were. So either he just had really unique tastes, or he was like he just got off on like playing practical jokes on me and my teenage friends. But anyways, Slackers. That was a fun one.
That one has like a cult following though. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think the director went on to bigger and better things.
Well, it's hard to go down from there. I don't remember. Maybe it was filmed really well. Maybe the dialogue was very natural and fun to watch.
If I remember right, it kind of was filmed to look like it all happened in like one take, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of original, but the movie was about nothing, so it was...
Yeah. It's called Slackers, dude. Come on.
I don't even know if people wear slackers. Just going throughout their day.
Yeah, no, they were all like late teens, early 20s, I believe.
Did you see The Lighthouse?
Yes, with
Willem Dafoe and
Vampire.
the Vampire Man?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies to come out in the new this decade
Tell
since,
me
since
you like me
2020.
lobster.
I really like that film.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say because I watched it a couple weeks ago and my memory doesn't extend back that far.
It was great. I think they drink paint thinner or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really pointed out.
It's like
what they-
honey and turpentine.
Turpentine, that's what it was.
Turpentine,
Yep. That was a good one. No, I really liked that movie a lot. One of my favorite memories was watching that with my sister's husband, because he's like, you know, super redneck, like lumberjack in the woods kind of guy, and he watched it up until the scene where he's talking about his lobster, and then he just got up and he went, "This is not for me." Then he went to bed.
It was great.
No, I mean, yeah, it was very funny. It was a good movie.
Would have been funny to see his reaction to the scene of Robert Pattinson pleasuring himself to a mermaid doll thing, whatever that is. Carving. It's like
Or Willem Dafoe's his love dripping down from up where the light was.
That was a good one. Yeah.
there's a lot of little things in there
Love
like
drips.
that.
You gotta respect the drip.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you something. Damn it, I forgot.
You forgot what you were gonna ask me. Did you finish
Yeah.
From yet?
No, we just watched another episode though.
Yeah.
It's good TV
Yeah.
so far.
Told you.
I like it. Amazon Prime series, like hour-long episodes, 45 minutes.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
It's pretty good by the guys who made Lost.
Similar type story, but I think so far cooler. I never watched
Way more
Lost,
interesting,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's coherent. Lost
I was
kind of.
gonna say.
Yeah. So far, I like that it actually is like very on topic. Sometimes when the shows make a world like that, it gets like Lost. It's like, here's 45 storylines, and
Yeah.
3 of these
Yep.
will end up semi-making some sense.
Yep.
Most of this, we're just wasting your time.
I watched another film last night. Actually, I kind of had an independent cinema night.
Independent, like alone.
I mean, yeah, and there are multiple layers to that actually. It
The
was
independent cinema night.
yes. It was called A Little Bit Zombie. It was a film. I believe it was like a $1 million film project. It was like one of the first like what do you call it? Like where you raise money for a film, because it came out in like 2012, like a GoFundMe type of deal. And they actually did a pretty good job for having, you know, not a lot of money. It was a movie about this guy who he basically gets like a zombie, a mosquito lands on a zombie, sucks its blood, and then the mosquito flies around and like turns undead, and then it lands on a guy and sucks his blood, and then he can't kill it because it's a zombie mosquito. So that was kind of funny. But then he slowly starts turning into a zombie, and he's kind of resisting it. And so his bride-to-be, his fiance, and his sister and his sister's husband, they're all like at this cabin. They're trying to go on vacation before he gets married. And so they're trying to help him through the process as he's like kind of slowly turning into a zombie. And, you know, his wife is like, well, we're getting married in a couple weeks, and, you know, you're rotting and you're falling apart. And So it's it's kind of a horror comedy, and I was surprised. It was actually pretty good. There
It's
was
like a romance you would write.
yeah, kind of.
Understand how beautiful it is.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. There was, if a movie gets me to laugh out loud, then I consider it a win. You know what I mean? Because
And that's not easy.
no, it isn't. It isn't. And there was one or two scenes where I did that, so I would call it a win.
Interesting.
And then also, as you know, I'm a huge sucker for practical effects, and they didn't have money for CGI, so everything was practical. Actually, that's not true, because nowadays
I was gonna say.
it's almost more expensive to do practical effects. One of the most disturbing stories I ever heard was about. Do you guys remember the movie? For some reason, it had the same title as the original, The Thing. It came out. It was a prequel to the movie, but it was called The Thing.
Came out recently, past 10 years.
2013 or
definitely,
something.
yeah. I thought it was a remake. It's not.
No, it's a prequel.
I didn't watch it with her, but Taylor was watching it the other day.
Oh, it's a good
I
movie.
do like it. Yes,
Yeah.
as a standalone thing. Yeah.
The thing that bothered me about it
Doesn't
though,
have no Kurt Russell.
well, yeah, obviously, but that's gonna bother you. That bothered me. But the main problem was that the director was actually a huge fan of the original. He was a fanboy, and he wanted to do practical effects like an OG, and he paid $1 million to have the practical effects monsters built with like mechanics and everything. It was gorgeous. I saw some behind the scenes stuff, and I was like, this is amazing. And the studio was like, no, we can't have that. People like CGI. So they literally threw it away. $1 million worth of practical effects, artistry by this beautiful production company that created this, like creature effects. And they just threw it away for this god-awful CGI that is now looks garbage.
It looks like
because-
crap today.
Yeah.
It wasn't that great. Yeah.
And nothing hurts my soul more than that, because what?
It's all over.
Yeah. After that,
Your
pretty
mic's
much.
dead, potentially.
No, we only had 1 minute left.
Oh, I didn't know we had a time limit.
Neither did I. I mean, I did, because I could see. But
I can see clearly now the rain has
someone wrap
gone.
up?
I think we've blabbered on long enough, and you've heard my singing. So with that, I'm Josh.
I'm Jack.
Jason.
Thanks for joining us today on This Movie Sucks.
And we'll see you again in 2 weeks
Or 1.
Ish.
to complain about other films. Thanks for watching.